If you're hitting the gym 2 to 3 times a week, every week, but you're not seeing the physique that you think you deserve, let's be real, it's not your training plan, it's your actual training that is the problem. And if you don't fix your training, you could have the greatest, most optimal, best written program from the best trainer in the world, and you wouldn't see any difference to your physique. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can fix your training so that regardless of the program you're currently following, you'll make ridiculous changes to your physique. And in case you're wondering, my name's Josh, I'm a fat loss and transformation coach and a qualified MNU certified nutritionist. I've been coaching in person and online for 6 years now, and I've helped over 150 clients get stronger, get fitter, transform their physique, change the way they think, and actually build long-lasting results. So what do I mean when I say that your training is the problem, not your training plan? Well, most people just don't train with anywhere near enough effort or enough intensity to build muscle. The vast majority of guys that I see that turn up to the gym do the same thing week in, week out, lift the same weights week in, week out, do the same exercises week in, week out, and then wonder why they look in the mirror and they look no fucking different. And I get why this happens. You walk into the gym as a beginner, you basically can lift any weights, do any exercises, and you'll start to see some kind of progress. You'll start to see muscles getting bigger, more definition coming out, some veins appearing. It's absolutely fantastic. Those initial 6 to 12 months are like crack cocaine for gym progress, and it's why so many people start going to the gym and get addicted to going. But then after those initial newbie gains have worn off, you really have to take your training intensity and your training effort a lot more seriously. You can't just rock up to the gym and do a session. That's not enough anymore. You need to be training with real intent, with real effort, and with real intensity. It's not enough to just come in and lift the same weights for the same reps every single week. You need to be striving for progress week in, week out. You need to be implementing progressive overload week in, week out. You need to be training close to, if not all the way to failure, week in, week out for weeks and months on end if you want to grow muscle and transform how your physique looks. And look, if you're going to the gym 2 to 3 times a week, I'm guessing you want to take this whole gym thing seriously. Like, you don't spend 2 to 3 hours a week in the gym if you're not wanting to transform your physique in way, because let's be honest, you've got better things to do. Or should I say, you've got other things that you would like to be doing. And I say that as someone who trains 6 hours a week and is looking at my Steam catalog every single day thinking, I should really get onto that. But I'm also someone who genuinely enjoys lifting weights and chasing new numbers, chasing new PBs. So this training effort and this training intensity is second nature to me because I'm constantly reevaluating my goals and pushing myself forward. But if you're not doing that at the moment, if you're just turning up to the gym and doing a session and thinking that's enough, we need to change that right now. We need to look at your effort and your intensity and really dial that up if you want to be changing your physique. And I know you do, because you come into the gym 2 to 3 times a week for at least an hour at a time. So let's talk training intensity. I could sum it up with 3 statements: train hard, train regularly, and don't fucking stop. Or to put it another way that some people understand, you've got to set the fucking tone. And I don't want to hear anyone saying, oh, you shouldn't lift a failure because it's so fatiguing and you won't be able to recover. And I would have said that a couple of years ago when I didn't understand the nuances of training and recovery and the adaptations that you can make by training to failure. So now I'm very much of the opinion that you should train every muscle as close, if not to failure, every single session. Because unless you're in the run-up to a competition or an endurance event, why wouldn't you take the fatigue? Why wouldn't you take the soreness and ride the gains train all the way to physique failure? There literally isn't a valid reason. Don't want to be sore for your next gym session? We'll sort your training out, sort your recovery out, space your sessions throughout the week, and you absolutely won't be. But I should say that training to failure isn't about training until you're so sore that you can't sit down. It's about training until you mechanically cannot perform another rep with good form or with full range of motion. So this is failure. This is failure. And the thing is, when you're hitting failure in every set, you don't need to do tons of volume. So you don't need to do fucking 15 sets of chest flies like most people think you do to grow your chest. 3 quality sets all the way to failure every workout, if you're training 3 times a week, is more than enough volume to force the muscles that you want to grow to actually grow and change your physique. And then if you're like most guys training 3 times a week, you're going to have at least 48 hours in between sessions, which is more than enough time for your body to recover from training to failure anyway. And so the whole worry about training to failure and not being able to recover, carrying too much fatigue, is a non-factor for 90% of guys that go to the gym. And genuinely, this is the biggest mistake I see so many guys in the gym making. They go in, they see that it's 8 to 12 reps on the program, and they just do between 8 and 12 reps. They don't have that 12th rep slowing down or being to failure. They're just like, yep, I've done 12 reps, sound, and then they go home. That's not what makes muscles grow. That's not what changes your physique. You want the last reps of your sets to be really slowing down, having to grind for those last 1 to 3 sets. That last rep being the one where you're just not able to make it sometimes. That's where the mechanical failure comes in. And honestly, if you're not training like that and you're outside of the beginner gains phase, those initial 6 to 12 months, you're not training with enough intensity to grow. Seriously. I've been training myself for close to 2 decades now. This is what I looked like when I wasn't training anywhere close to failure. This is what I achieved in the last 2 years, pushing every single set close to, if not all the way to failure, consistently. Here, my body composition didn't really change at all. Whereas here, the picture speaks for itself. And this is everything we know from the research and training put through my personal experience and the experience I've seen with my clients as well. And so I don't want you wasting 10 years in the gym like I did to see absolutely no change in your physique. And I want you to see the same kind of transformation that I did in the last 2 years, whether you work with me one-to-one or you just consume the free advice that I put on my channel. And that's only gonna happen if you start training with the intensity that you need to for someone who's been going to the gym for over a year now, because you're not a newbie. So stop training like one. And if you finish this video thinking, well, what training plan should I follow? There's a video right here that explains exactly that.